it's over. Pels get it done. And on the spin and the reverse, the slam by Zion.
If there's anything that we can take from this clip, it's this. Star players on top teams aren't afraid of the Phoenix Suns. From Luka to Jason Tatum to Zion Williamson, the Suns have been getting cooked all week. A darkness has come over the Valley of the Sun as of late, and I know that while teams go through their ups and downs throughout the season, what the Suns are experiencing now is not just a blip on the radar. It's actually something that has been hanging around them for a while like a bad cold. I believe that Devin Booker, Chris Paul, and the Phoenix Suns' title chances are slowly crumbling, and I'll explain why and if there's any way for them to reverse the trend. So today, we'll look at the Suns' recent games against Dallas, Boston, and New Orleans to see what went wrong. We'll dive deeper into the main problem that I believe is slowly eating away at them, and we'll explore what they can do to turn all of this around. This is Topic Tackle. Let's go. What's good, people? JC3 here. Appreciate you tuning in once again to Topic Tackle, where we dive deep into the basketball world, seeing through the storylines and narratives to give you the perspective that the media doesn't venture to. So if you're tired of shallow analysis and want to become a deep diver, go ahead and hit subscribe and leave a like on this video. I greatly appreciate it. Before we dive deeper into the main problem that I see repeating itself with the Suns, let's look at some recent matchups to see why opposing team stars are having field days against them. Starting with Phoenix at Dallas. This one was a lopsided 130-111 victory for the Mavs, and of course the headline was going to be Luka versus Booker, because when you've had this happen to you, there's going to be noise about this matchup for the foreseeable future. Doncic dropped 33 points on 12 of 20 from the field to go along with 6 rebounds and 8 assists, while Book, coming off a hot stretch the week prior, posted just 11 points on 4 of 13 with only 2 rebounds and 5 assists. Now, this series is 1-1 this year. The Suns taking the season opener on a Damian Lee late shot, but the fact remains Luka has continually owned this team. He hasn't scored below 25 points against the Suns since August 13th, 2020 in a game where he played just 13 minutes. In his last 9 games against Phoenix, which includes the 2022 semifinals, he's averaged 32.9 points, 9.3 boards, and 7 assists. Of course, with this domination comes the trolls. The top comments on a TikTok tour of Devin Booker's house were mainly about him being Luka's son. And look, TikTok especially is not the place where you're going to see constructive criticism on the internet, but until Book shuts this noise up, it's not going to stop. And then came the nationally televised showdown between top teams from the East and West, as the Boston Celtics, having just played a back-to-back at Brooklyn and Toronto, flew all the way across the country with just 1 day of rest between games and handed the Suns 2 losses in 1, according to Devin Booker.
You mentioned it being 2 in a row. Normally with a game like this, you just kind of flush it, but being that it's coming off of another one, is it a little bit different at all, or same philosophy?
2 flushes.
In a game that closely mirrored their Game 7 semifinals loss last playoffs, the Suns found themselves down 27 at the half and losing the game by the same margin. And this happened despite getting Chris Paul back from a heel injury. Have you ever seen this video title before? Chris Paul hits a huge 3 to cut the lead to 42. Yeah, this game versus the Celtics kept that same energy. And this loss led Suns writer Gerald Bourguet, or however you say his name, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, led him to tweet, "The Suns' standard approach to games like these is just to flush them, but after 2 in a row, a little soul-searching might be needed. Not time to overreact, but definitely need to self-reflect after back-to-back beatdowns like this. Flushing it would be too easy." And with that Suns loss, the New Orleans Pelicans jumped into the #1 spot in the Western Conference for the first time since 2008, in large part thanks to Zion Williamson, who has been absolutely ballin' lately.
I remember hitting the mall with my home team. Now I'm home, you can't answer calls cause I'm ballin'.
And despite no Brandon Ingram or Herb Jones, the Pelicans put away the Suns as Zion dropped 35 points on 13 of 17 from the field.
I mean, not trying to get you in trouble or anything, but the dunk at the end, I guess, why did you decide to put that one up?
That was a little out of character for me, but you got to understand. I mean, you can understand it or not. They sent my teammates home last year. I missed all last year. I was in that locker room when my brothers were down because, the Suns sent us home last year. That's a tough moment to be a part of. So in that moment, I got carried away. I admit that. That was out of character for me. So, you know, if they was to do the same thing, I wouldn't have no problem with it.
Game 5 of the playoffs, 110 to 97, 32 seconds left. Normally you dribble the clock out a little bit, but here we're on a fast break. Not even a month later, the series tied 2-2, 108 to 80. Let's throw a dime and try to get a dunk. We're cracking down. Nobody's safe. I'm snitching on everybody.
So, you know, if they was to do the same thing, I wouldn't have no problem with it.
Now, if you're a Suns fan, you gotta hope that Zion showing them up with the dunk at the end of the game is and I took that personal moment for Phoenix, and maybe it'll help them get back on track. But there's been a problem that's been brewing beneath the surface in Phoenix for a while now. Has anyone else out there noticed that the Suns seem to be losing their psychological edge ever since blowing the 2-0 lead in the 2021 finals? Anyone?
Bueller.
I know they responded with a record 64 wins last season, but it was a different story when they reached the playoffs. And now, signs of this are showing again against 3 teams that they'll likely have to see on a finals run. This is why it's so important to capitalize on the biggest stage when you have the opportunity, because you'll never know if you're going to get back to the finals. And especially for the Suns, because with them banking on Chris Paul with his unfortunate injury history and his current age, let's just face it, they already were accepting a limited window.
You know, when I think about the Phoenix Suns, here's where my mindset goes. Very, very talented leadership, a star, superstar as far as I'm concerned, in Devin Booker. Very good team, exceptionally well coached. But they give me the impression that their window came and went. The Pelicans are a team that could cement that kind of thinking for those that may be thinking that way.
So to wrap up, what can Phoenix do to reverse this current trend? Well, what I'm about to say is going to sound cliche, but it's true. They need to do some of that soul searching that I read from the tweet earlier in this video and decide how they want to be remembered in the league. They still are a top 10 offensive and defensive team in terms of points per game, and despite what the trolls say, Devin Booker is a bucket and is proven to be one on big playoff stages. Their bench is middle of the road in terms of scoring, and they may have to make some moves to add depth to their roster.
They need to make a deal.
Right.
Okay?
Who?
Okay, I'll give you.
No, who? No, I'm saying Phoenix. Got it.
A guy like Kelly Oubre. I mean, Charlotte, are they going to be sellers?
Yes, they're going to be sellers.
Yes. So you get a guy like Oubre who, okay, maybe it didn't work out his first time there, but a guy who, when Devin Booker goes to the bench, you can count on him. Let's say it's 50% of the time. I'm just saying like him. You've heard John Collins' name mentioned.
But honestly, at this point, it's a test of will for the Suns. They know what it takes to make the finals. The question is, can they? In a crowded Western Conference full of hungry teams vying for the same spot. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think that the Phoenix Suns can turn it around, or are they cooked? Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and we'll be back with more Topic Tackle coming soon. Stay solid, people.